On this episode of Mudhole TV, the boys hit Lake Ida, an urban fishing paradise in South Florida's Delray Beach. They built some heavy freshwater rods from MHX and some more finesse rods from CRB as they look for peacock bass and the elusive clown knifefish. Will the backwater canals of South Florida produce the type of fish these custom rods are built to catch?
So, I had never been down to Lake Ida in Delray Beach, and I'd always wanted to because, I've caught a peacock bass before, but I've never caught one here in the United States, and it also had the clown knifefish that I had never seen in person, honestly. And so, I'm going through my mind, what do we need, what are we going to use, and it's very apparent as you do a little bit of research or you talk to people, you can't just, throw soft plastics and do things like that. You can catch them on a fly, you can catch them on hard jerk baits or rattle traps, or you gotta have live bait. So we came prepared for all of them. And of course we also built rods for all of those, applications as well. All right guys, we just got off at Atlantic Avenue down here in Delray Beach, and we're just about a mile from the Lake Ida boat ramp. We got Thomas Olturek with us, and he is going to kind of show us around a little. He's fished down here before, so we've got shiners, we got the fly rod, we got some crankbaits, we got some rattle traps, we got spooks tied on. Looks like a pretty good Florida summer day, a little bit of cloud cover, and we're gonna go fish some of the canals and see what we can find. There's a bunch of canal systems down here in Boynton and Delray Beach, and we're just gonna hop from canal to canal and pitch around and see if we can't get one of these peacocks to eat. Cichlid. Little cichlid here in the canals. Caught him on that MB 843. It's one of those do-alls. So pretty much when I'm around here, if we're throwing a fluke or a jerk bait and not pick up a rattle trap, I've got the MB 843 as a casting rod. It's the best one. When I set that personal goal for myself, I wanted to catch a cichlid and a peacock on the fly, but going through the whole MHX list of blanks on what I wanted to bring, I know I needed a 4-piece, and I leaned on the 9-foot 8 weight. And I hadn't been down there, so I didn't know if I was going to be in the wind, I was going to be around docks, if I had to pull a fish that, was going to try to wrap me up. I really needed to get that fish away from the piling. So, when I went through it, I caught that Mayan Cichlid right against a seawall, and of course I watched him come up and eat it, and that was super exciting. And of course the same thing happened with the peacock. We were going around a dock and laid it out next to a piling, and that articulated bait fish kind of looks like it's fleeing every time you strip it, and I think that's really what sets them off. So I'm throwing this jointed bait fish fly on the F908, which is the 8 weight from MHX. It's the 9-footer, and that little guy came out from underneath the dock and absolutely slammed it. That's exactly why we came down here. We did the research, we figured out what we needed, we built the rod specifically for a task, and we went in and we got it done. As we went through the morning, we decided that we were going to concentrate on docks and canals. Get us off the main lake. It's an area that there's a lot of jet skiers, a lot of wakeboarders, and those fish can get a little spooky if you're constantly over the top of them with, pleasure watercraft.
Yeah, actually nailed a peacock on a rattle trap using the MB 873 color series by MHX.
Wow. I'm trying.
I hooked one pretty early on, and it ran right under a floating dock and started ripping drag out. I almost thought I was going to lose him. I ended up being able to horse him back in with that rod, and good fish.
We're good. We're good. Yeah.
We could see him under there, and then he came out and swiped at his. Well.
Wow. So you hit that one on a rattle trap, or you sitting on the bed. Nailed it with that NB 873. This thing really put up a fight.
Yeah.
This is my first peacock ever. What a first.
Yeah.
Wow. Beautiful fish. It was pretty crazy. This is my first peacock bass. I mean, it was a beautiful fish. I mean, I was a little freaked out at first. I didn't think I was going to catch one that early on, but it was just a beautiful fish. The coloring is awesome on it. And that big forehead hump, it was just a weird alien looking fish right there.
Man, I gotta tell you, that Lake Ida experience so far really has got me loving it.
Yeah, nice fishery for sure.
It really does. You know, we've got a few of the exotic species that we were coming down here to chase. We've got the Mayan Cichlids, we've caught a couple there. We've got a couple peacock basses in the boat. And it's really kind of shaping up to be exactly what I had hoped.
Yeah.
You know,
sure.
We've got the MB 843, so we've got the standard 7-foot medium heavy. I went a little different. I went to the CRB IS 701ML.
And you also broke out your fly rod already.
Well, naturally, you know, naturally, I cannot go anywhere without getting in the fly line.
Yeah, well, as rod builders, you're going, a couple things are in play. We're going to a new lake, multiple species. So what do? We work backwards from the information and we build rods that can handle various techniques.
Absolutely, and you know, so far, if you like this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe the Mudhole Custom Tackle page on YouTube. And when we come back, Greg and I are going to walk over to the deflection chart and show you why we chose those rods and talk a little bit about action and power.
Yeah, so come on back.
Mudhole TV is brought to you by Mudhole Custom Tackle, the world's largest supplier of custom rod building. Build your next custom fishing rod at mudhole.com/TV.
So right now we're hopping from one canal to the next. You know, down here there's a chain of canals. We just go in one, out, and you know, so far we've picked up a Mayan Cichlid, and you know, that's one of the exotics down here in South Florida, which is why people come down here to fish. And also Hoffman caught an absolutely trophy peacock. Like I said, you got Lake Ida, you got Lake Osborne, you got long canals in between them, and you know, all of these fish typically are going to hit a moving bait or a live bait, and you know, that's why we're constantly moving quick. It's not a finesse approach. You know, we're fishing, you know, pretty good sized tackle because they will pull drag, and that's why we drove down here. So we're going to idle up here to the next canal. We're going to see if we can get some more.
So, you know, we've been down here hunting for a lot of different species of fish, and we're having to sneak into some backwaters, go into a lot of big neighborhoods, people's backyards, big business districts and centers, and it all connects, it all intertwines. And these fish are really set up in the places where it gets deeper and they've got good hard bottom to kind of work and nest and do their thing. We're seeing all sorts of fish hitting. Got into a few cichlids. They got some teeth and stripes on them, kind of like a bluegill of the south.
Anytime you have where there's like a big seawall like this and then one big dock, that's going to be a good spot.
Oh, it's another cichlid. Nice.
SJ42, again, just skipping up under these trees, anywhere in the shade. Got these guys with some teeth on them.
We were catching these fish on hard baits, mostly square bill crankbaits, and a few on some jerk baits. Rocking the MHX SJ842. This rod's got a good fast action, allows us to get these fish out from under the docks and get them to the boat.
So yeah, today was a blast. I've never been peacock fishing before, but because they pulled so hard, you know, normally a shiner rod, maybe a mod fast, but the MB873 really is a little bit longer rod and it has a fast action. And that really helped when they did take the bait to really make sure you can set the hook and really pull them away from the structures. So yeah, my first peacock bass, just flipped a shiner near a dock and wasn't really paying attention. Went to grab some pork rinds, quite frankly, and turned around and my bobber was gone. I just don't think he's done yet. Okay, ready? Wow, what a nice one. Look at that. All right.
Color.
Yeah, it was a great fight and got him on board. Brilliant colors and hump above his head, and it was really a blast. There you go, not bad. My first peacock. We were resetting the lines and all of a sudden went down immediately as soon as it hit the water. Woo! The MB873 really is a, you know, all around great rod anyway. You can even go frogging with it, worming with it, spinnerbait fishing. It's really a great versatile rod and was the ticket today with the Peacock Bass.
You know, I gotta tell you, we had some storms roll up on us. We jumped up under a bridge for a few minutes. We pulled in one of the canals that we fished before. I got another one rigged up here and I got my eye on a dock, so I'm gonna go cast another one. So, you know, having that IS701 ML was something that I know I can trust. You know, I've used it on the flats, I've used it for live bait, I've used it for small baits that I could present very accurately, and I knew that that's something I had to bring with me. So with that IS blank, it has more of a moderate fast bend. A lot of the time I'm underhand pitching, kind of a soft delivery, land that shiner softly so that he's ready to hit the water and start swimming and working for you. And that's really what happened. We started off down a canal and I mean, almost instantly, I pitched the shiner next to a piling. He swam up underneath the dock and he started to pull the float under, but he couldn't quite get it under. And then the next thing I know, I blinked and it was gone. Hey guys, we're back. Chris here with Greg. I've got y'all in front of the deflection chart because we are gonna dive in a little more into these two rod builds and why action and power is why we chose them.
Yeah, fishermen, rod builders, they're different. They approach every situation differently. So I went with a little heavier power.
Absolutely. You know, I know you're a medium heavy guy. You always fish that. The 7-footer you can see here on the deflection chart runs through, it's got a lot of butt power, a lot of mid power, and then it comes over and is a fast action.
Yeah, so the medium heavy power and the faster action, I'm still throwing braid with a fluoroliter and shiner. So, you know, when I use that heavier power, I know to set the hook a little more gently, right?
Sure.
I don't want to rip it out of the mouth. So for me, that's what I'm comfortable. That's what I'm used to flipping with and working worms. And when I flip shiners around structure, I also want the power to kind of, hey, get out of there.
Yeah,
so
and you know, I think it really paid off for you because you caught a great peacock bass. And of course, when you look at the structure and these canals, we've got docks that line the canals. Right. We've got brush piles. We've got heavy vegetation. And I probably lived a little too dangerously at times, but you can see I like something that is a little more soft. This IS701 ML is a medium light and it is a little more moderate fast. You can see it falls a little below the MB843 here in power. And then it also has a little gentler curve out to the tip, which also shows not only the medium light power, but it also shows more of a moderate fast action.
Yeah, again, no right or wrong. You know, that's the reason Mudhole has a lot of different kits for these very situations. If you're a bass guy, it's a little uncomfortable going from a medium heavy to a medium light.
Sure.
It feels weird, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why I stuck with it. And again, you know, you go to mudhole.com and we have a kit section, and whatever you're comfortable doing, whatever application, we probably have a rod kit for you.
Absolutely. So if you guys like this episode so far, be sure again to like and subscribe to Mudhole Custom Tackle on YouTube. And after the episode, run over, check out all the great rod kits at mudhole.com. And I think it's time to get back out on the water and put these to a little bit more of a test.
Let's go.
Mudhole TV is brought to you by MHX Rod Blanks, the benchmark for rod blank quality and performance. Browse over 500 of the world's best blanks at mudhole.com/TV.
Having that IS 701 ML was something that I know I can trust, because I knew that I was also going to be playing with some treble hooks on a really light jerkbait, or I was going to be throwing a live bait like a shiner under a float. I went with a CRB blank because they have a more moderate bend to them. They're a moderate fast action, and you know, we built that one up, and I started out with the jerkbait on it, and I couldn't get bit. And you know, at first I didn't know why. But you know, I had one or two swipe at it, but I could tell that they weren't wanting to commit. So you know, I had that kind of ace up my sleeve, and you know, some people call it cheating, but I went back to the live well and pulled out a shiner and started pitching that around. And of course, you know, with some of those shiners, you want to be delicate around the dock. You know, you can't just rip a cast out there because you'll tear the hook out and you won't be accurate, and you know, you'll be wasting bait. I mean, almost instantly, I pitched a shiner next to a piling. He swam up underneath the dock. The bobber went under. You know, I gave it 4 or 5 Mississippi and leaned on it, and the next thing you know, I got a clown knifefish on, and that clown knifefish might be the highlight of the trip. I set the hook and it came tight. The drag slipped a little bit, and he jumps off to my left. And it was super exciting, but my heart skipped a beat because I'm going, I have a feeling that I'm going to lose this fish.
He was 90 degrees to the actual fish. It actually jumped in the air. We saw it was a clown, and you know, everyone starts freaking out.
I had no way of knowing, is he going away from me? Is he coming at me? Is he going around the piling? You know, luckily we were running braid to a fluoro leader, and I was able to fight him back through 2 pilings and over a dock cable and get him to the boat. And the craziest thing is they can swim backwards. So, you know, not only is he going to swim away from you this way, but when you go to land him and grab him, he backs away from you. And that was kind of one of those, oh no moments. Thankfully, I had him hooked perfect in the corner of the mouth. And again, that's where that moderate fast action of that IS blank helps. A little bit of that moderate fast kind of absorbs that shock. I was able to kind of cradle underneath him and bring him aboard, and that's it. I think I've looked at that picture about a dozen times at least today. Wow. This is my first one. Dude, I was under the dock, around the piling. He was out in the middle here jumping, and I can't believe I was able to land him.
What a nice fish.
Dude, that's wild.
That's like an alien.
God, so weird. I can feel him drumming. Crazy.
You know, I mean, it wasn't that long after that I actually hooked into a clown knifefish also. Whoa, he went under quick. We've heard it's really hard to catch any during the day, but we hooked into 2 in the same day. I actually had a 3rd one that broke off. But, you know, just to catch 2 in one day was pretty amazing. On that clown knifefish, I was actually throwing the MHX Elite X NSJ 843. Super light blank. I had the LZR guys on it, so I mean, I barely realized I was holding a fishing rod the whole day. And I hooked in that clown knifefish. It started chasing my bait around and getting really nervous, and it just followed it around. Once it hit, I mean, I waited 7 to 10 seconds before I set the hook because they don't have very big mouths. 4, 5, 6.
Got a boy?
Big clown, big clown.
Yeah.
Big clown. And set the hook, and it like pulled immediately. Wow. Finally got it up towards the top of the water, saw it, and of course, you know, me and Chris start freaking out because, you know, what are the odds to catch 2 in one day? Look at him jump. Don't really him up too far. I'm gonna bring him over to you, Chris.
Seem like trying to back up on you?
Yeah, they swim backwards. All right.
All right, Hoffman. Come on up here.
Lake Ida down here, this place is crazy. They got some crazy fish up here. It's just totally weird fishing. When the day was done, we were just ecstatic.
You know, between the 2 boats, you know, we had a great group of guys. You know, the camaraderie was excellent. We caught a Mayan Cichlid, we caught the clownfish. We actually caught 2 of them. You know, we caught the peacocks, and we even caught largemouth. I guess that would be considered a Lake Ida slam if there is such a thing. So we did the research, we figured out what we needed, we built the rod specifically for a task, and we went in and we got it done. Man, I cannot believe that we're gonna have to leave this place. I cannot wait to come back down to Lake Ida and catch all these cool exotic species on custom rods that we build.
Yeah, a lot of different types of fish we're not accustomed to catching, right? So I brought more of a bass rig, the medium heavy, 7-foot, 7.3. It's what
Right.
I liked. You went a little different route.
I did. You know, I really have come to love that CRB IS 701 ML, and I think I'm probably going to be using it a lot more. You know, I know at times it might have been a little light there, but I like to catch the fish and worry about fighting him later.
You know, and for people watching, you know, even though we're custom rod builders, these are actually rod kits we bought at mudhole.com. So anybody can go to the website, mudhole.com, and get the same rods that we built and used.
Absolutely, you know, that's a great point. And in addition to all of these rods here, like you said, they're kits. Well, we also have saltwater offshore kits. We've got fly, we've got ice. I mean, if you can dream it, we've probably got it over at mudhole.com.
Yeah, and if you get stuck in a build or need some ideas or have questions in general, we have a dozen rod builders you can call and ask all the questions you want.
That's a great point. And between those dozen rod builders and our resources tabs that will help you with guide spacing and handle layout, you really cannot go wrong at mudhole.com.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I think I'm ready to go back on the water, plan another trip. We appreciate you guys watching. We hope you liked and subscribed to the Mudhole Custom Tackle YouTube channel. And tell you what, I think we'll see you next time. And for Mudhole TV, he's Greg, I'm Chris, and we'll see you in the rod building room or out on the water.